Hello and welcome to Beyond the Score here on Atlantic TV. My name is Chimo Benzaramobi and I've got Eddie Ville, the Olu of sports. Hello, Eddie.
Thank you for having me.
Right, let's get down to it. Transfer activities in the world of football is gradually gathering momentum, but we'll start off with the ones that affect Nigerian players and we'll go international. Let's start off with Ademola Lookman. So Inter Milan are expected to improve their 40 million euros bid for the Nigerian international. Now, Lookman is currently injured and is already agreed a 5-year deal with Inter Milan. Now, for Atlanta, they are saying it's 50 million euros. That's the minimum they will take. What's your take on that?
I think he's worth more than that 40 million. I think, but this one now is the club is trying to get more buck for their player. But I believe even at that 50, it's quite a fair game because Lookman is worth more than that to me.
When you look at Lookman and the fact that he's rejected Napoli, and you look at the travails of Victor Osimhen at Napoli, do you think that what's happening to Victor Osimhen somehow has shaping his decision to go for Inter?
Exactly. If you ask me, I will tell you 100% because Lookman is it's a very good time with Osimhen, and in fact, any black African player who has seen some of the challenges Victor Osimhen went through in Napoli, especially even in the hands of the fans, and even allegedly some
top officials of the club.
Officials of the club. It tells a lot about the club. And if I were an African player who Napoli is interested in, I would want to shift focus to other clubs, except I don't have an option.
When you look at also the experience of other African players different from Victor Osimhen, look at Kalidou Koulibaly. There was a time that Chelsea wanted Kalidou Koulibaly. Season in, season out, they were coming for the player, but Napoli stood firm. And by the time he joined Chelsea, he was more like a finished product. It was like no longer, in vogue. And from there, he moved to Saudi Arabia. Then, but you look at the ease with which Visha Kvaratskhelia moved to a PSG. He's a European champion. He's won the Champions League. One would be forced to think that maybe this could shape the way top African players view Napoli as a potential destination.
100%.
But talking about Napoli, let's talk about Victor Osimhen. Finally, he could afford to breathe a sigh of relief. It's been a long summer for him as an individual, back and forth. But Galatasaray at the weekend got a deal done with Napoli regarding his transfers. And what's even making this even more surprising for me is the fact that Napoli have inserted some clauses in the contract, that somehow makes it look as though they don't want the player to actually make progress. And I think about it, they're going to be earning 5 million euros if he scores 35 goals for Galatasaray. And I'm like, what? What do you want the man to do?
See, I think Napoli just wants every buck they can get from this transfer deal.
Interestingly, they've milked goals from Osimhen.
Yes.
And they got him for around 75 million euros. They're selling him for 75 million euros, which means that they actually made more profit.
See, I think what they are looking at here is they want more money. They want more money. They don't want their books to have, we bought him for 75, we're selling him for less. I think they are looking for a way to break even for their books, notwithstanding the contributions that Osimhen had made in the club. And that is what they paid for. They didn't pay for a resale value.
Well, another clause in that contract is that Galatasaray can't sell him to another Italian side until after 2 years. I find it a bit ridiculous.
I think, see, like I said before, these guys are just milking as much as they can get from this contract. But on the other side, they are not reflecting on how people are going to see them, how other African players or even European players are going to see them.
As a potential destination.
Yes, as a potential destination. Because all these they are doing now makes it very hard and very difficult for a club, if not for the fact that Galatasaray are head-bent on getting Osimhen. Almost every other club would have backed out from all these stringent conditions being placed by the Napoli side. But all in all, Galatasaray, they want Osimhen. They've seen what he can do. They've seen what he can deliver in terms of football and media. So they want him and they are willing to give the best possible to have him.
Of course, that they are one of us other condition also for this deal to have happened is the fact that 10% of future sales will be coming to Napoli.
See,
I got to give it to them.
these guys are in for business.
Okay, so away from Victor Osimhen, who clearly will be looking at the new season with a lot of joy. And let's talk about Boniface Victor. His situation has left a lot of fans asking more questions. In the January transfer window last season, he was supposed to have moved to Al Nassr.
Yeah.
But in the last minute, Al Nassr pulled the plug on the deal and went for Jean Duran instead. And he has come out, and then a lot of people have questioned his passion for the game, that, you chose money over football. But when you look at how long a footballer's career, the lifespan of a footballer's career can be, and how short it can be, I think it would be kind of difficult to blame him for choosing the 15 million euros on offer in Saudi Arabia at the time.
See, I think every player has the right to choose for themselves, which Lookman has done for himself. Personally, I have nothing against him wanting to play for money, because at the end of the day, the end goal is to make money and be famous. So every other thing is secondary. So he has not gotten the opportunity to earn good money, and he has taken it. So would most players do, except those that play for the passion. But again, what is passion without money?
Well, what is passion without money? And I'm looking at Victor Boniface, and I think his decision to make that switch. If you recall, in that January transfer window, he cleared his locker, gave out his designer shoes, his designer bag, and some of his personal belongings. He already gave them out. Bag was packed. It was just to hop onto the plane and move to Saudi Arabia before Saudi pulled that deal. Do you think that the fact that that deal did not go through, because if you look at what happened between January when the season ended in Germany, it was like it wasn't the same Victor Boniface. Do you think that impacted him psychologically?
A lot, 100%. I think it impacted him. Like you said, he had moved. His physical self is just what was left there. His mind, his focus and everything has shifted towards the Saudi side. And it was just unfortunate that Al Nassr had to pull out of that deal. And I think it affected him. It affected how the game. In fact, it's going to mess with your psychology if you were in his shoes, because he was mentally off to Saudi Arabia.
Oh, well, let's see what this summer transfer window holds for him. There are a couple of clubs that are interested in his services. One of those being AC Milan. They've been linked with him. Do you see him moving to AC Milan?
See, I think he's just going to find solace in a different place. I think his mind has already left his current club. So what he needs to do is find somewhere that he will get, his mind will be at peace, and he's going to have some good gameplay. We want to see him thrive. We want to see him thrive, even while also rooting for him, because back here and the national team, we also want him to do exploits. So we want to see him thrive. We need him to get somewhere where he can be focused and play the game of football.
Indeed. Let's talk about game of football right now. Rafael Onyedika and his team, Club Brugge, on Sunday won the Belgian Super Cup at the expense of our league champions, Royal Union St. Galloise. And of course, the Nigerian has been one of the standout players for a while now. He's been linked with a couple of clubs. At this point in time, looking at Rafael Onyedika, he gives me the vibe of a younger Paul Pogba. He's a great athlete, if you've seen him. He's been linked with our clubs in Germany. He's been linked with clubs in England. West Ham United, have actually been linked directly with him. Would you advise him to move to the Premier League or make a dash at the German Bundesliga?
See, I believe he should go to somewhere that values what he has to offer and where he's going to have a lot of playing time, because this is just one season that he has shown so bright. But we need it to be consistent. And this is not the time to just make a decision in a hurry. He should sit down, talk to his management, talk to family, let him go to where he will be honored. And if it's not outside the club, let him remain in his club currently and build himself so that he can pick up from there.
All right, let him stay at his current club and build up from there. Let's turn our attention now from transfers as it affects Nigerian players and talk about what's happening in England. I mean, the preparation for the new season is gradually garnering momentum. But one team that have been very, very active in the transfer market happens to be Liverpool. The Reds won the title last season with wonderful performance. It's like they don't want to have a dip.
No.
So we now understand that they've reached a deal to sign highly rated striker Hugo Ekitike, and of course the deal is worth 79 million pounds. Liverpool are spending. Florian Wirtz came in for over 110 million pounds. Jeremy Frimpong also came in pretty expensive. Now they are doing this. The Reds are really, really on a prowl.
They're going on it. They want, like I normally tell people, you need to have team depth. You need to have team depth. They don't want what happened to City last season to happen to them, where at one midpoint of the season, everybody is now being tired from fatigue or from playing games in every other day. I think they want to balance their team. They want the bench to be as, if not as good, but almost as good as the starting 11. So I think this is a good one for them. They don't want to any stupid reason for them not to clinch
have back-to-back title.
The title. They've not done that for a long time, so they would want to do that. So I think they are going all in. They don't want to leave anything to chance. And mind you, every other club is gunning hard
for Liverpool.
For Liverpool too. They want to take that first position, and Man City is right there at the top of the list. So they don't want to give them any chance at all.
You know, the way Liverpool have been going about the summer transfer window makes me ask the question, are they preparing for potential exit of Mo Salah? I mean, it definitely will be cropping up at some level of conversation. At some point, he's going to leave.
Yes.
He can't be Mo Salah forever.
Yes.
And the way they've gone about, their business this summer, reinforcing their attacking department gives the impression like they are preparing for a potential exit of Mo Salah.
Mo Salah has done his best for the Liverpool side. You see, every player will eventually leave one way or the other. If he doesn't leave, he's going to retire. So one way or the other, and the team needs to build itself in such a way that it is not dependent on just a few persons. So building the team outside of Mo Salah, yes, is expected, because Mo Salah, as the day goes by, he has seen the best of his days. So all what is Liverpool are just counting down to when he's going to leave or retire. But whichever is the case, they need to be prepared. The team needs not to get any shocker, just like the way it happened for Lionel Messi back then in Barcelona. They need to be prepared.
They need to be prepared. Now let's turn our attention away from Liverpool and talk about Manchester United. What has become of this giant is kind of disturbing. Looking at United, they've had some transfer dealings. It's been kind of I'm not going to say cold summer transfer window for them. They've brought in Matheus Cunha, they've brought in Abraham Bueno, and now they are potentially looking at Nicholas Jackson. I'm looking at Nicholas Jackson last season, or was supposed to have been his best season at Chelsea, but I'm looking at the numbers from last season. The man did not even do up to 15 goals. You think that that's the kind of player that United did right now?
They might just see a good project in him. One thing is that some coaches and club managers, they believe they can utilize certain skill set in some certain kind of players. So they might have seen something in him that they feel like, okay, if they work on this, they are going to achieve a good result.
Now, since arriving from Villarreal 2 years ago for £32 million, do you really think that Nicholas Jackson has improved on his game?
I think what I will say on his own issue per se is that he's not had as great a transfer season that we would have wanted him to have coming from Villarreal. But I think we can see progress, little bit of progress here and there. And I think that's the same thing the Manchester United side are seeing, and they believe that they can work with that progress and achieve what they need to achieve.
And then lastly on this Nicholas Jackson case, I mean, Chelsea are saying £100 million. Is he worth anything, that amount? Because that amount is jaw-dropping.
How bad do they want him?
Well, that's a conversation that we're obviously going to be having for another time. Let's now turn our attention to talk about a United striker. I mean, United are trying to get him a striker, but another striker is trying to leave, and that's Marcus Rashford. He's arrived in Barcelona to try to complete a deal to the Catalan side. We understand he's willing to take 15% pay cut. That's
Yeah.
massive.
Yeah, it's massive, but I believe he knows what he wants for himself. He has seen, I believe he believes in the projects of Barcelona. He thinks he can fit in, and I believe this 15% pay cut, if he hits the ground running in Barcelona, he's going to make a lot more money from sponsorship, ads, and a lot deals to come for him. But
But Barca are not in a good place financially.
Barcelona are not in a good place financially to overspend, not to take care of their players. They can comfortably take care of their players. They don't have a problem with that, but they can't overspend like the Barcelona of say 7-10 years ago. They can't overspend, but they can take good care of their players.
So tilting away from Rashford, let's talk about another striker who's struggling at Manchester United, Rasmus Højlund. I mean, Højlund came in for £72 million, but the returns have really not gone according to plans. I mean, you look at 4 goals in 32 Premier League games in the 2024-2025 season. Those are the kind of numbers that make managers to scream at players.
I think you see what somebody in Nigeria calls it financial mistake. So I think that's what they will be looking at now, that they will be calling that project a financial mistake. But nonetheless, let's see what the next season holds for him. But it has been an underwhelming performance. Just 4 goals from 32 Premier League outings. It's as bad as it can get. I don't think that's encouraging in any way at all. So I think they should either let him go or send him on loan to some club so that he can pick up some form and come back and deliver for them.
Well, looking at Manchester United, it's kind of hard to try to understand what exactly their player is. When you look at some of the players that they're trying to push out right now, Rashford, Anthony, Garnacho, you've got Tyrell Malaysia and Rasmus Højlund, and you're asking yourself, how is it that United have failed to get the best out of this player?
So sometimes these players might not just work with the team project. And again, every other player can fail. With the Man United of last season, these guys, everything that could go wrong went wrong for Manchester United. So I think what they are just looking at now, looking at who to send out and what to bring and who to bring in, so that they have a little bit of stability. Because what the position Manchester United finished last season was an eyesore. By the rank, in fact, they escaped relegation by the whiskers.
Well, I think saying that they escaped relegation by the whiskers may be a little bit too harsh. But let's move away from that now and talk about the Gunners. Arsenal, I mean, they've been the nearly men of the Premier League for a while now, you know, and lots of questions have been asked about their willingness to break that ceiling. This summer, we've seen them make some moves. They're bringing Martin Zubimendi and a couple of other individuals. I understand that Mascara's deal is expected to be announced in coming days. There was a leaked picture on their official handle and was deleted, but fans saw that. Okay, Eagle Eye fans saw that quite early. But one of their major targets this summer has been Victor Osimhen. But how the deal has dragged is a little bit exhausting. In fact, I understand that Osimhen's father broke down in tears over the weekend because the thing was having an emotional toll on them. So he was supposed to have flown out with Arsenal for their pre-season tour, but well, that's not the case right now. I understand that in the last 6 days, Arsenal's offer to Sporting Lisbon has been left unattended to. This must clearly be having its own mental toll on the team, their fans, and expectations for the season.
Yeah, obviously. You know, when things are not going according to plan, it tolls on you physically, mentally, and emotionally. So what is happening here now, it's of no difference. But one thing I would advise, if they would listen to my advice, is sit down, pull yourself together. Not everything will work according to how you have planned it to be.
But the Gunners need goals for next season. You do know that.
They need goals. Now, you know, it takes 2 to tango. These guys they must present a deal to Sporting that Sporting are willing to accept. So if you are presenting something that they are not willing to accept, nobody is going to come to your negotiation table.
But again, let's just hold it a little bit and go to Liverpool and connect something there. Darwin Núñez came from Benfica for over £80 million. And you look at Núñez, he's really not been a success at Liverpool. All right? And then you're asking Arsenal to pay real good amount of money for this player who has had a fantastic season, fantastic 2 seasons at Sporting and the same Portuguese league. I mean, you can understand when the clubs are a little bit reluctant. Liverpool that did it have not really enjoyed their money.
It all comes down to individual difference. These players are not one and the same. They are different players that played for different teams. So I believe they have different things to offer. So you can't judge one from the other. They are not twins. They are not in any way. They've not in any way played the same football. Okay, let's look. Let's even look at this. You see, Cristiano Ronaldo and Quaresma. In those days, those guys were looked at as if they were twin kind of footballers. But you can see what Cristiano Ronaldo went on to do for himself. And I'm not no shades to Quaresma though, but you can't compare what the achievements of Cristiano Ronaldo to
Ronaldo's
Quaresma.
exceptional. Quaresma did his own bit. Let's not even push that. But let's move on from that now and talk about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. At the ongoing WAFCON, they've performed well. The whole of Africa nil, the Super Falcons 9. When you look at the goals they've scored, 3 goals in their first game against Tunisia, 1 against Botswana in their second game, they won up against Algeria, and then drew that game goalless. But it was against Zambia that they were supposed to be tested. Okay, I mean, you look at the Zambian female national team, they've been one of the top teams on the African continent for a while now. As a matter of fact, in the last WAFCON, they really pushed the Falcons hard, denied the Falcons a third place finish. But last weekend, the way the Nigerian ladies went about, it ended 5. It was just 1 from completing the spelling of Zambia.
You know, one thing is, I think maybe they were underrating the Super Falcons, not knowing that these young ladies, they had their head in the game. But again, football is a game of 90 minutes. Anything can happen. If you underrate your opponent, you have yourself to blame. So I think the Zambia side, they might have just underrated the Super Falcons, and the Super Falcons have shown them why they are called the Super Falcons.
Now we're up against South Africa in the semi-final. Coach Desiree Ellis is one coach that understands the Nigerian style, and she said that South Africa knows how to play Nigeria. Does that give you any concern?
You see, when it comes to South Africa versus Nigeria in football, it's just like saying Ghana versus Nigeria in football. There's a lot at stake, not only on the pitch, but outside the pitch. This Nigeria and South Africa, they always go head to head in all forms of competition, from sports to music and all. So these two, they have a lot at stake to play for. So the South African side, not taking anything from them, they are a very good team, at least one of the best in the African continent. So, but the Super Falcons, with the recent forms they've shown, I believe they are equal to the task. They just need to get their head in the game and go in there and put everything that they need to do for us to come out with a win. And we need to take that win, if not for sports only, but for every other aspects of bragging rights.
Bragging rights, according to the Olu of sports. Well, let's now move away from that and talk about boxing. At the weekend, we saw Alexander Usyk going up against Daniel Dubois, and he did very good numbers against Daniel Dubois.
As expected.
As expected, indeed. And then when you look at the fact that Tyson Fury is now calling Usyk for a trilogy, says, listen, let's have a trilogy, because now you're the undisputed heavyweight champion, okay? Yeah. You've really, really done everything, and you've shown the world that. So this is time for Usyk and Fury to go head to head. That's according to Tyson Fury. If these two were to be placed in the same ring at this point, who would you be rooting for?
Usyk.
Why?
He has even defeated Tyson Fury before. He defeated Tyson Fury, defeated Anthony Joshua, and now he defeated Dubois. Who do you think my money will be on?
Well, it's understandable, but you look at the amount of money that he earned, you know, from the fight at the weekend against Dubois, 97 million
That
pounds.
is almost 100 million. See, like I was telling you before we came on set, that I think I want to go into boxing, so that I'm able to take one or two punches, I faint, and I get some good.
By the way, Dubois got 52.5 million pounds for that fight.
The promotion for this was mad promotion. Mad promotion. Now, just imagine the athletes getting put together almost 150 million pounds. So just imagine what the promoters and every other stakeholder is going to be getting. I think this is a good one. You know that after the fight, you are taking care of your family. is well taken care of, and every other thing that you need. So why won't you see? If you give me half of that money now, I'll stop this program and start giving you some little boxes.
Well, we'll not be giving you that opportunity right here on Atlantic TV. But let's now move over and talk about track and field, where Nigeria underlined its dominance in youth athletics in the final of the third edition of the CAA African Under 18 and Under 20 Athletics Championship. You know, a miracle is Usyk led a sensational clean sweep for Nigeria in the girls at 200 meter on Sunday. You know, she powered to her third gold medal of the championship at the packed MKO Abiola Stadium. I was really, really impressed watching the race yesterday, and the fact that a lot of people came out to support them. You know, she clocked 23.87 seconds to go home with the gold medal. Someone like Usyk is definitely a one for the future.
Yeah, and again, that was her personal best. She broke her personal best record, and it was a very glorious event for her. She did her best, and in fact, we had, if you remember what happened, we had all our counterparts sprinting really well as well, because they came out first, second, and third.
Yeah.
So it was a very good one for the Nigerian female athletics side.
Yep. Her compatriot Chigozie Nwankwo and Perez de Siga finished at second and third respectively, giving Nigeria an emphatic 1-2-3 finish. All right, let's move over now lastly to a karate, where 1,000 athletes from 31 countries have arrived at Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, for the African Karate Championship, which kicks off on the 21st of July and is going to run till the 28th of July. The president of the federation, talking about Silas Agara, he told newsmen on Sunday that the 31 countries alongside the host Nigeria will be slugging it out in 4 categories of the sports. When you look at karate, it is something that somehow it has not gained the roots required or desire that most of us really envisioned in Nigeria years ago when it was being introduced. You look at basketball, for example, they've done the NBBF has done great. You know, you look at ping pong as well. The federation has done great in that regard. And then you look at a couple of other sports. Even cricket, we've done well in cricket. We've gone very far. But karate seems not to be hitting that same stage as, especially Karate Federation. You'll be thinking that they should be doing more right now. So this one definitely looks like an opportunity for them to.
Yeah, you see, this time it's a good time for them to not just showcase what they have to the world, but also to catch the young folks. Because for you to have a successful outing and to make it transgenerational, you need to catch them young. You need to get those young lads to be interested in karate. Make karate fun and interesting to them, and make it available to them at the grassroots level. Because if you see most of the thriving sports we have in Nigeria today are those sports that are available at the grassroots level. If those sports, if they are not available at the grassroots level, how will the youngsters participate in this? You don't expect somebody who has not seen a karate ring before to start practicing karate. How are they going to do that? So this is another avenue for the federation to push karate out there. Let people know that it is safe. Another reason why it has not caught on again is the fact that a lot of people think karate is not safe. So that is another restriction or hindrance that is coming in towards that direction. But I think the federation, the Karate Federation, has a lot to do to convince people, parents, young lads that they can go into this practice, and it's a safe practice, just like boxing.
Indeed, the Karate Federation has a lot to do when it comes to sensitizing Nigerians and bringing the sports to the grassroots. Is very, very important. And on that note, I want to say thank you so much for being part of today's program. I want to say thank you so much to you, to Ediviel, the Olu of sports. We'll be back with a fresh edition next time. Until then, bye-bye.